breaking news in the investigation into the shocking murder of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. In the last hour, officials announced they are charging the suspect in the shooting with 7 counts of aggravated murder, felony discharge of a weapon, 2 counts of obstruction of justice, 2 counts of witness tampering, and violent offense committed in the presence of a child. They will be seeking the death penalty. Officials also revealed detailed text messages that the suspect sent to his roommate, who officials say he was in a romantic relationship with. Here is Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray.
The roommate received a text message from Robinson which said, "Drop what you're doing. Look under my keyboard." The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that stated, quote, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." Police found a photograph of this note. The following text exchange, then took place. After reading the note, the roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right?" Robinson, "I am still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you." Roommate, "You weren't the one who did it, right?" Robinson, I am. I'm sorry."
The roommate then asks the suspect why he did it, and this is what he had to say.
Robinson, "I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it." Roommate, "How long have you been planning this?" Robinson, "A bit over a week."
Absolutely chilling. According to law enforcement, the suspect also encouraged his roommate to delete all of those messages.
Robinson again, "Delete this exchange." Again, Robinson, "My dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it is very unique. He's calling me, RN." Not answering. Robinson, "Since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. I'm going to turn myself in willingly."
Officials say that the suspect's mother is also cooperating with the investigation. His mother says that in the last few months, the suspect had moved to the left politically and had become, in his mother's words, quote, "more pro-gay and trans rights oriented," end quote. The suspect is expected to appear in court for his arraignment in the next hour. We will bring you any and all updates. That is where we start today with some of our favorite reporters and friends. New York Times Justice Department reporter Glenn Thrush is here. With me on set, former top official at the Department of Justice, MSNBC legal analyst Andrew Weissman's here. Also joining us, MSNBC senior political analyst Alex Wagner is here. And at the table as well, retired FBI agent, MSNBC national security and intelligence analyst Chris O'Leary is here. Chris, we were together on Wednesday as the tragic assassination unfolded, literally in public. To see these private messages is such a harrowing bookend to such a public act.
Yeah, so what I haven't seen yet, though, and which hasn't been released, is a real clear-cut ideology behind this. It looks like it may be leaning towards, perhaps something related to, gay community or trans community, but I mean, there's nothing necessarily here. He talks about his father being more pro-Trump, but is that because he's reacting to the assassination of Charlie Kirk, or is he acting out against, his father's affiliation with MAGA world? So I don't think we see a real clear-cut ideology here. One of the things that we've seen with school shootings and even the first Trump assassination attempt, these young men, a lot of young men similar to this, have this nihilistic view. And they're acting out, but it's not traditional ideologies. It's some kind of blend sometimes, and nothing you can put a finger on So you have some groups that champion this, but we haven't seen evidence of any of that yet. He's certainly, in chat rooms that are consistent with this kind of thing, but at least the information that has been released so far doesn't really paint a clear picture of why he did this. We have the act and evidence of the act, but we really don't understand the guilty mind yet and what drove him towards this.
We do have, though, in the killer's own words, the premeditation and the length of time he was planning the murder. He says, quote, about a week and a half.
So obviously these are just allegations, so, it remains to be proved. That being said, if you are a defense lawyer for this case, everything you're doing at this point, from this moment on, is about the death penalty. The proof seems overwhelming of guilt. Again, that he will have his day in court if he goes that way, but everything is going to be about trying to figure out, is there any mitigating story to tell? The selection of the jury will be governed by that. The presentation during the guilt phase is going to be governed by that. And any extenuating circumstances, mental health, whatever the issues are, because it is absolutely clear from what's laid out here, unless there's a mistake, this is, which doesn't appear at all. I mean, the proof of guilt here is overwhelming. The one thing now from the government's perspective, which is still got to be worked out, and it'll be interesting to see how they deal with it, is the roommate. When did he cooperate? He has clearly got to be a witness because they have charges that are clearly based on things that the roommate has said to him about destroying the documents, what was found, the conversations. On the other hand, you can imagine them looking to see whether he could be charged with obstruction, whether he tore up the document but then told them about it. So how you sort of deal with that will be interesting. And to relate it to your conversation about sort of ideology, they're going to be relying on the roommate as a witness. So they can't really go hammer and tongs, sort of anti-trans, to sort of put the political lens on it. If you're just looking at this from a sort of what the government prosecution has to do here, that's going to be a government witness, and they're going to be saying that he's credible. So they need to sort of leave that all aside. And frankly, from a sort of law enforcement perspective, of course, you want to know sort of who your people are and what their motives are, but it's irrelevant. I mean, this is a murder. And that's the way you're going to be trying this case. But those are sort of two issues from both sides that I'm sort of thinking about now. What would I do on the defense side? What would I sort of worry about on the government side?
Is it customary to have this much evidence this early as a public?
It is unusual to have this email chain that's this explicit. It does suggest, something that it doesn't suggest this is somebody who really thought they were going to get away with this, and a sort of level of immaturity in terms of how it was done. I mean, that is clearly the most damaging evidence. Usually you have things where you're looking at, we've got DNA, we've got fingerprints, we can sort of tie him to things, but you don't really have a confession. Here, he has told somebody he has a relationship with, who he would be candid with, who he then said, and get rid of this. You're going to, in closing, the government's going to say, you see these emails? This is what he did not want you to see. And so it is unusual to have that much evidence, but that's why if you are the defense lawyer, everything is about trying to, what are you going to do to convince one juror to spare his life?